Well, good morning, everybody. Great seeing you. Today, I have my wonderful friend with me again, Randy Taylor. Everybody, give Randy a big wave. Use that little icon there. Randy, so grateful you're in my life. So happy. And today, we're going to have a conversation about the law of attraction. And you might have, for those of you that know the Beach Boys, Good Vibration, law of attraction is all around vibration. And so I thought I'd just pick that song and, you know, um, Randy is so happy that you're here with me. Randy is actually right now in the International Space Station looking down at us, and he says that I need to turn my
That's
shirt
right.
down. So,
Yeah, the people at the I'm not at the space station. We're here at the studios, but I did get a note from the International Space Station and asked if you could turn your shirt down a little bit. It's they're trying to see Mother Earth and it's a little blinding, so they asked if you could turn that down. Always making a fashion statement that right. And I've chosen another black shirt. If you if you walked in my closet, it looks like I took over for Johnny Cash. So that's that's our our fashion differences. But great to be here again, Michael. This is always a wonderful treat to spend some time with you. And we have a lunch coming up, so that's good too.
yes, we do, Randy. I look forward to our lunch next week, and we have such a wonderful time just not only catching up, just talking about things that we both love and believe in, right? And
Yeah.
again, for our guest joining us this morning, again, this is my very dear friend Randy Taylor, and we're going to talk about the law of attraction. So, Randy, the you and I have known each other a long time. We've had many conversations around the law of attraction and different things. And when I talk about law of attraction with friends and family and just anyone in general, the only thing I can prove to them that it works is what has shown up in my life. The things that I attract into my life. I'm not chasing, I'm attracting it into my life. And Randy, I know you do a lot of research. You've been at this business of helping people overcome their fears, helping people break through barriers, helping people achieve their goals, and just having their dreams and their life, come together in what and how they see it. And I know you do a lot of research and you have a lot of science behind the law of attraction and how it works. And I'm so blessed that you have shared some of those things with me. But I'm going to ask you, my friend, to share those things to the audience today, just to tell them that this thing actually works.
Yeah, it's I mean I think like everything throughout history, right? Until that it's absolutely scientifically proven. And one of the a couple of reasons why I talk so much about science. One, I'm absolutely fascinated by it. So if we can find a way to quantify it, from a personal interest standpoint, that's that's important to me. More importantly, from a position of trying to help people, being able to provide substantive evidence of whatever it is that I'm talking about. So whatever elements of training and development and keynote presentations that I deliver and the rest of it all is based in science. Because for me, it's not about the applause and the check at the end of the presentation. It's about if someone will actually take that inspired thought that they had during a session or during something and go and start something,
Yeah.
right? So in order to get people to take action, for me the science part was so important, because rather than saying, listen, Michael, here's my navel gazing, here's my philosophy, you should believe me because I believe me, I've been drinking my Kool-Aid for a long time, it's delicious, you should have some, right? So being able to provide science to people, I think has gone a long way in people saying, okay, it makes sense. What he's saying, is not just some theory. This is all scientifically based. And so I will buy into it to the point where I'm actually going to take action. And so that, that for me is kind of the nemesis behind why, I'm so rooted in science and believe in this so much. Not that science can't be constantly challenged, and it should.
Yeah.
We should be questioning science all the time, but this has gone a long way in helping people to to get there and to understand it. Yeah, interesting. And you and I have talked about this, a number of times. So many times when people, learn about the law of attraction. I mean, back in the day when The Secret came out,
Yeah.
the the movie talking about the law of attraction, I think they they oversimplified it to, to the point of nausea, where, they said that, the guy just sat on the couch and checks just showed up in the mail. It's like, no, I mean, you got to do something for the checks to show up in the mail. Let's be a little more,
I agree.
honest,
Yeah.
and have some integrity about that. But, it's interesting. You've probably heard this too, and people saying, so about this stuff. Can you teach me how to use the law of attraction? And my answer always is, here's a clue, you are.
Yeah.
Right. So whatever, whatever energy you're putting out there, whatever thoughts you're putting out there, whatever is going on internally, you are attracting. So, you consider the energy in the world kind of like a magnet. And so whatever you're putting out there, you're going to attract a like magnet. So you've spent your lifetime trying to lift yourself up and trying to, vibrate on a higher level. And we'll talk about that a little bit. And that's why, and you can attest to this, right? Wonderful things have come into your life. Were you born with a golden spoon in your mouth? What's the answer?
Absolutely. Yeah. I agree, Randy, 100%. Yeah. Everything takes, as I said, Randy, my only proof is whatever shown up in my life is because of the things that I've practiced, things I've learned from yourself, right? Yeah.
But I mean, everything starts with a thought,
Yeah.
and it's again, from a scientific level, every time we have a thought, we make a chemical in our brain created in the hypothalamus and goes throughout the body and enters the walls of the cell receptors and causes a chemical reaction that produces an emotion and a feeling. And that feeling then radiates out from us. I mean, you can look at scans of the human body that measure the energy field going out some 6 to 8 feet. That's just measurable. And so, the law of quantum physics says that it's the law of entanglement, so that all like energies are entangled. And this isn't woohoo. It's not, kind of some mystical, crazy thing that's going on out there. It's kind of the same that, back in the day that, doctors couldn't understand why their patients kept dying when they operated on them, because they couldn't see bacteria.
Right.
And they didn't wash their instruments. So, I mean, imagine a surgeon coming to you, they just operated on this table and here he comes with his scalpel. It's like, you want to rinse that off, doc? Right. But they had no idea. So, we're kind of in the burgeoning area of understanding, quantum physics and science and the rest of it and how it all interacts. And it's, there's getting to be more and more proof of that.
And Randy, it's kind of like you've heard that we all heard the quote about seeing is believing, right? And so many of us rely on external things to we think we need external things to help us to achieve what we want to achieve, when really it's all about the internal. And I know you talk about overcoming the thoughts in our mind, right? That voice in our head all the time. And again, some people need to have science to verify certain things. For myself, Randy, here's one very simple example. I remember when I first started learning about law of attraction, somebody said to me, Michael, do you have a goal? I said, yeah, I have a goal. There's a specific car that I wanted to get. And he said, you know what? Do yourself a favor. Go out to that dealership, stand beside the car, have somebody take a picture of you, either in the car or by the car, and then put that picture up in a room somewhere that you can see it every day. And then start to visualize that, right? And, when you talk about the thoughts and we project those thoughts into the universe, like those are energy, right? Thought is energy, right?
Yep.
And I know you talk about a bit more about the science and the whole vibration part, Randy. You and I were talking about, behind me is a wall, and that wall is made up of these bricks. And when you break down those bricks, it's at the molecular level, they're just atoms and electrons bouncing around, right?
And they don't exist. I mean, they don't exist for human observation. You're right. I mean, that wall behind you, your shirt, your nose, the air, water, everything is made up of atoms. And if you take anything and you break it down and break it down and break it down and break it down right down to the atomic level, and then the subatomic particles, the electrons and protons, get it down to that level, it disappears. So, really the structure of everything is based on the level of vibration of those atoms. So the brick is moving much slower than you are, right?
Right.
The air is moving much faster than you are. So it's the vibration that really determines the physical entity of anything.
Right.
Energy can't be created and it can't be destroyed. It's just in different forms. And so it is really interesting. I mean, if you look at your desk in front of you, if I looked at this microphone in front of me right now, if I broke it down all the way down to subatomic particles of an atom, it doesn't exist.
Right.
And I know it's kind of mind blowing to get our heads around that, but that is the truth. And whatever energy we put out there, it impacts us, and there is tremendous science behind it. The scientists have been working on quantifying this for quite some time. They've have around the world these things called random event generators.
Right.
And a random event generator spits out, it's a pretty boring machine. It spits out equal numbers of zeros and ones. So it just goes 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, millions and billions of them, right? And they're set up in places all around the world. And during major events, these random event generators, like 9/11, like the tsunami that hit in Indonesia, when those things happened on Earth, the random event generators, for no other reason, went crazy.
Wow.
And rather than having just zeros and ones, there was huge spikes going on. Why? Well, because the energy and the consciousness of everybody on the planet changed. When you think about it, and people would say, well, it was the physical impact of the plane hitting the towers or whatever. Come on. Do you know the impact of everything going on Earth on a daily basis would be to the power of 10,000 more than the towers coming down. So it is the consciousness of everyone on Earth that impacts that energy.
Right.
And causes that to happen. So,
And, Randy, on that same theme there, we've all met people that have said to us, I have the worst luck in life, right? And we have those conversations with them to say, well, tell me more about your thoughts. What are you thinking? How are you feeling? And invariably, at the end of the day, those people are vibrating at a very low state of vibration.
yeah.
Okay, in comparison to you and I, like again, if zero was the low, if zero was the lowest point of vibration and 10 being the highest, you and I, Randy, I know for sure we are up around the, I'm going to say above 8, right? In terms of at that
Yeah,
scale, because that's where
try
we
to.
are.
But, I mean, I'll be honest. This stuff is easier to teach than it is to do, and I need to get up, every morning. And sometimes, I'll watch one of my presentations and say, pay attention to that. And what that guy's
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
So,
Yeah, we should be sending a bill to ourselves, right?
well, you know what? I woke up the other day, and there was a couple of things that were going on, and having struggled with something, and I woke up and I was in that mood of, trying to parse this and trying to think about it and understand it. And then, because I study this stuff all the time, and the only way that I was able to kind of get out of it is because I journal every morning, and I was writing down what I was thinking and what I was feeling and what was going on. And then in reading it back, I realized, I'm taking the car accident from yesterday and I'm inserting it into today.
Yeah.
Right? And so we all do that. I mean, the argument you had yesterday, the lost client yesterday, the
Yeah.
the hiccup in the economy. I mean, whatever is going on, we take that hologram of a bad experience and put it in front of us,
Yeah.
and then what happens? Right? Then we start pretending like it's happening again.
Yeah.
We're judging everything in front of us by that. As a result of that, our mood goes down, our energy goes down, and guess what? You're going to start attracting more of
Exactly.
the negative, right? So this is it's a complicated process.
Yeah. But Randy, I know you have techniques you can share with our audience, and I've got techniques that I've shared in the past. But for somebody that feels like their luck, is not the best, or somebody that feels like they're in a low state of vibration and they want to find a way to change so they can now attract the beautiful things in life that they all dream of. Can you share a couple of techniques, Randy, that you have shared with your
Sure.
clients and audience, that they can just simply, if they choose to change, right? Because the first decision is I want to make a change, right? So if you could share some of your techniques with the audience, Randy, that'd be wonderful. I know you and I have talked about this in the past too.
Yeah, 100%. So no one was born with a doubt. We need to start there. And so, all the doubts that are created are based on experiences that we have throughout life. Interesting to know that every thought we have and every action we take, we go inside the subconscious mind, open the files from past experience, and say, what do we know about this? And that's how we end up basing our decisions to, call the client or not call the client, go to the gym or not go to the gym, spend time with your kids or don't, right? So this process goes on consistently all the time. And again, what we were just talking about is that, those past experiences, they're holograms. I remember, and I can visualize it perfectly, the day that John F. Kennedy was shot. I was going to a one-room schoolhouse. I was grade 4, right? There was nobody else in my grade. There was 28 kids in a one-room schoolhouse, and my mother walked the quarter mile out in the country to come to the school, came in, walked up to Mr. Wilkinson at the front of the room. I mean, I can see everything.
Wow.
And she whispered in his ear and then left. And he said, class, put down your books. We're going to turn the radio on. President Kennedy has been shot.
Wow.
And so, I mean, can I visualize that? How many years ago was that? 1962,
Yeah.
right? It or 63, I think. I mean, it was just absolutely stunning how you can recreate that memory.
Yeah.
Is Kennedy being shot again? No, he's not, right? I mean, whatever happened in the past has happened. And so number one is understanding, the psychological process of what happens, that, that it's not just a thought, it's the recall of information attached to the emotion that creates the chemicals that make us feel like that again. I mean, when I was just describing what happened the day Kennedy was shot, I started feeling how I felt that day. And that's a long time ago, right? So, number one is understanding the process. Number two, through, a new process that I've kind of created lately called conscious intention. So making the decision through conscious intention that whatever it is that you're focused on, or whatever it is that you're doing right now, make the decision that you will judge it by what is in front of you, right? And not bring that motion picture of the assassination back in front of you, not bring that motion picture, of the last relationship that ended badly, whatever it is. Understand it's a hologram, right? And it's just, you can, and blow it away. It's mist.
Right.
But so many times, because thought feels, it becomes so real because we recreate the emotion, we recreate the chemicals, and it feels like it's happening again. And it's natural for us to say, well, you know what? Based on that last relationship, chances are this one's going to end up like that too. Right. I mean, are you with the same person? No, but it feels like it, and we judge things that way. So conscious intention basically is the repetitive asking of the question, whatever it is you're doing. If you find yourself beginning to doubt something, stop and say, where is that judgment coming from? Is it based on the fact that, the client just was going to come and meet with me, just called me and yelled at me and is never meeting with me? No, it's not about that. It's about the recall of information from some past client. And in doing that, repetitively again and again, we start to begin to judge the moment by the moment, and the day by the day, and the interaction by the interaction, and the opportunity by the opportunity, and our life by this moment in time. And it's a process. It takes time to get better and better at that. But it is that realization of not bringing that negative back in front of you every time to, to allow it to cloud, what is a tremendous opportunity. Now, people in sales face that all the time, where they, they feel this apprehension because they think they might be rejected. Well, are you good at what you do? Yeah. Do you have a good product or service? Terrific. If the person chooses to go with you, are you going to help them and make their life better? Sure. Well, then make the call, right? Don't judge the person. Don't not call the person because of somebody else in the past. But we do that, and that's all part of the science.
So what I hear you saying, Randy, is we let the past experiences, dominate our thoughts, which keeps on giving us the things that we don't want showing up in our lives. So with doing things like, for you, journaling every day. For me, it's things like visualization, manifestation, saying my affirmations every day.
Yeah.
We all there's so many different things, and there's so many great teachers of how to improve our lives out there. But I remember you always saying to me, Randy, people keep they stop stopping that, they keep on stopping themselves, right, they get going, and because a week goes by or a month goes by and they're not seeing different results in their lives, they give up and they stop, which is, you and I know, as you said, it takes time. So if you really want to make a change in your life, and if you really want to have the things that we all have dreams, right, Randy? You have dreams, I have dreams, right? And I hear people make the comment all the time, I'm living the dream. And I'll say that, I'll look at them, I'll go, really? Are you really living your dream? Because, you
They're
know,
just
you know,
regurgitating a saying. That's, I mean, that's, yeah, yeah, yeah.
exactly. I mean, so the things that you do, the things that I do to help us to evolve. I use the word evolve rather than change, Randy, because to me, evolution is growth, right?
Yeah.
Change is like, okay, I'm going to change direction. It's growth. And I know that, you have spent many of years and hours just coaching your clients and friends like me on providing us little tidbits of things like you mentioned a while ago on what we can do. And to go back to this law of attraction, like it all comes down to, as you said, the thoughts in our head, right?
It is, and you mentioned a very, very good point that I want to bring up and touch on. So you're right. I mean, the thoughts create the emotions, create the chemicals, create the feeling that get us caught in that loop.
Right,
We're getting what we're getting by doing what we're doing. In order to have something different, we need to do something different.
right,
And science shows that the average person some 60,000 thoughts a day. But science has estimated that the average person has about 90% of the same thoughts you had yesterday.
wow,
And so, another aspect of conscious intention, touching on what you said, you get up in the morning, you have a process, you're visualizing, you have your affirmations, you're reading, you're priming yourself. So here's kind of an analogy, an example of what you're doing. So if you went on throughout your day, and maybe there was a big client you were working on, a big project you were working on, and you got a phone call, and the client said, Michael, out of the 165 applicants for this tender, we have chosen your company. How are you going to feel? Right?
fantastic,
You're going to feel fantastic. So you're going to have those thoughts. The
right,
thoughts will create the chemicals.
right,
The chemicals will create the emotion. It will lift your vibration. You'll be in that state.
right,
Now, how often are we going to have, really great, wonderful things like that happen
right,
throughout the day?
right,
So, part of the process of changing our vibration, I'm sorry, my assistant, I asked her to hold my calls. Uh, so, in order to change the files, the information of the files in the brain, and in order to change the chemical makeup, in order to change our vibration, what you're doing, through conscious intention, you're intentionally supercharging your system.
right,
So you're kind of faking your system out into doing more of what it wants. So it would be the equivalent of, that great, deal that you just signed and
yeah,
how you felt.
yeah,
You're forcing your body and your brain to do that maybe 20 times every morning.
right,
So by doing that, how much better, what direction are you moving into? And it's something that I do every morning, and everybody that's watching this right now, do that. I mean, if you want to speed up this process, every morning I get up in the morning, and the first thing that I do is exercise.
right,
And then after I exercise to create the endorphins, the chemical compounds that make you feel better, then I will sit down and I journal, and then I meditate. And then the final thing that I do is I will take in positive information from, YouTube is one of the greatest
yeah, yeah,
examples of take
yeah,
10 minutes and have somebody explain to you how incredible you are and how wonderful you are. And it's interesting. I watched a video, because I do this every day. It kind of, I'm trying to cheat my system, right? This
yeah,
is a body hack and a brain hack.
yeah,
And I was watching one the other day, and it was Oprah Winfrey talking to Tony Robbins, and he was talking about the fact that He's been doing this his entire life every day,
Yeah.
that he juices his system every day, that he exercises and he goes through these you know different things that he does on a daily basis to really supercharge his system and then go.
Right.
And he said, look, if you're not worth 20 minutes or half an hour a day, come on, you have to be worth that. And again, you can wait for lots of wonderful things to happen to start to turn the process and produce more of the right chemicals and lift your energy,
Right.
or you can do this artificially,
Right.
just like you're doing. And that's the concept of conscious intention of judging the moment by the moment, and then doing that every morning.
Right.
It's Yes, it will take time, but you'll start to feel it. You'll be a different person. You really will.
Absolutely, Randy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And again, you and I, when we meet all the time, we have these wonderful conversations, and so I really hope that what Randy has shared with the audience today, that something resonates with you in the audience. I'm kind of watching the time here, Randy. It's about almost 10:30. Just so the audience knows, what we're going to be doing is we will share Randy's contact information. If Randy doesn't mind, I'm sure he doesn't mind.
You know what?
For
If anyone,
anybody
you know,
that
like,
wants to
anyone
reach
has
out
any
to
questions,
Randy and and
yeah.
and start a conversation, right, Randy?
If you have any questions or I can help in any way, as you can probably tell, just like when we're out for lunch, I mean, they normally come to us and say, we're closing now. Can you guys go?
Yeah.
Right. So this is just something that, I find fascinating every day. And if
Yeah.
someone has a question and I can help them with something, I'm just so thrilled to be able to do that. So,
And this is why, Randy, I'm so blessed that you came into my life, because part of what I do also is, like I said, I attract, because of the high level of vibration, I'm attracting like-minded people into my life, right?
yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean occasionally some bad apples come along the way. That does happen. I know I've shared this in the past with the audience. I've got what I called I'm the driver of the bus of my life. So even though I'm attracting good people into my life, I keep those people very close to me at the front of the bus.
Yeah.
If a bad apple comes along, guess where they go? Back of the bus or off the bus, right? We have choices. Um, so Randy, I know you and I can probably talk for another 2 hours on this, because when we do have lunch, it's a 2 hour
Yeah.
lunch, and as you
Yeah.
said, yeah, they're asking us, do you want to order more food or buy more drinks?
Sure. Yeah. Okay, fine. Yeah. I'm getting hungry again.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, Craig, obviously I can't see the chat, but are there any is there any is there any questions or comments from our audience? And I see we have a nice group today, and I really want to thank the audience today for spending this time with us. And I know that again, every time Randy and I meet and talk, you know, I always get a gem, what I call a pearl of wisdom from Randy. But Craig, are there any questions or comments from the audience?
Yeah, we've got a few. Ramesh says, nice shirt to you, Michael, obviously. Giuliano, great comment here. He says, as humans, we're creatures of habits, good and bad, but our choice is which habit you follow. And he says, great reminder, Randy. And yeah, honestly. So Randy, when you were talking about, you did your example of the car accident yesterday, and you were letting it insert itself into today. Because I was listening to what you're saying, like, yeah, but how do I not let previous experiences, ruin my day? But Giuliano brings up a really good point. It's like what you focus on. And to everyone else in the audience here, if you're wondering, well, how does that work? How do you feel at the end of every one of these messages of inspiration? I always feel uplifted and motivated and powerful. And I tell Michael this all the time. And so that is a prime example of, here we are in the moment focusing on this. And it's really invigorated me. And I feel fantastic at the end of these always.
Thank you for those wonderful comments, Greg. And there's also a Messages of Inspiration YouTube channel. And also, when we do share Randy's content, Randy shares every month these beautiful messages. They're audio messages, and they're always so insightful and inspirational and motivational. So Randy, thank you for doing those audio messages every month, and like, you're doing a lot of good work, my friend. And I know I'm going to have you back again as because there's so many things there's so much more to share with people to help them, live the life that they truly want to live, right? The life we live today, um, it can change. And Randy, you've seen for people that you've worked with, help them change, their life for a better, right? And
One of the, and this, this may, be the last comment from me, and it may sound a little bit out there, but it's something that I absolutely believe in. And it's, you know that I'm, very much rooted in science, but when you're talking about, when you start to believe in yourself, when you start to have those thoughts, I feel like, the more, your vibrational level rises, the more open you are to the universe, whatever you want to believe the universe to be. And things start to come to you. Dr. Wayne Dyer made this comment several times. He said, look, I've written, this many books. And they said, how do you come up with all those ideas and concepts? And I absolutely I can attest that I feel the same way. He said, listen, when I sit down to write a book, I'm not writing that book. Though I am merely the conduit for those ideas to come onto the page. He said, listen, I'm not that smart. And when you are in a very, very inspired state, there are times that I've come up with, conscious intention was one of them. It was sitting one morning and journaling and trying to work this out in my head. And then this all poured out on a page, and that became, an audio post, and now it's part of my presentations. And so, I'm not that smart. I really think that when you vibrate higher, you open yourself up to information coming to you and coming through you. And I genuinely feel that. And so there's just so much that will come when you A, believe in yourself more, and B, let go of yesterday, and just, be excited and curious about this moment.
that, Randy, I love you so much, my friend. I love you
I
so
love you
much. I
too,
wish I
buddy.
could give you a big hug.
You will next week. We'll have
We
lunch.
will,
That's
absolutely,
right,
absolutely.
yeah.
So Craig, I'm gonna kind of wrap it up there. On behalf of Randy and myself and Craig, I want to thank the audience today for joining us, spending this time with us. Time is the one commodity we all have equal amounts of, and how we use that time and spend that time will determine where we go in life and the journey we go in life. It's not a race. And as always, I always ask everyone here on these webinars to show your love every day and share your love every day. Okay, show love every day, share love every day. And something that I had to practice yesterday, I talk about, whenever you come across a conflict situation, okay, approach it from the aspect of love. Okay, a lot of us, when we have conflict in our life, what do we want? We want to fight back. I say, step back, approach conflict from the perspective of love. And folks, I reassure you, the outcome will be better for everybody. Okay, Randy, I love you. Thank you, everybody. Randy, as always, love you.
Don't forget
Audience,
to
thanks
don't
for
forget to
joining
turn your
us.
shirt off on the way out. That's right. Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Randy. Everyone, have a wonderful day. Have a blessed day. And I hope that you utilize some of the ideas Randy has shared with you today. So thank you, everybody. Have a blessed day. I love you. Take care. Bye-bye.